Hello, humanoids and not, to the lore of Risk. I have found irrefutable evidence for the undeniable lore of this silly little board game. Starting just now. Russia. This is the kind of catalyst of everything, the divergence point, if you will. So, this is the Russian-Ukrainian war that's going on right now. Russia Russia fumbled so hard that Ukraine ended up conquering them. And then the other nations thought that was pretty cool, and they just kind of joined. Now, this causes Siberia to go haywire. It explodes into several different smaller states. Since a lot of oil comes from Siberia, this causes oil prices to rise a bit. Although, not by a whole lot. This will be important later, so remember it. Due to China losing their reliable trading partner from the fall of Russia, they are forced to sell Manchuria to Mongolia. India notices this weakness within the region's powers and decides to go very aggressive and expansionist, conquering nations like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan, and importantly, Afghanistan. Afghanistan is conquered, but it moves north, conquering other nations in the area, which explains why our current nation of Afghanistan is geographically unrelated to the territory of Afghanistan in Risk. Thailand does something similar. They conquer their neighbors like Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and a few more. The Middle East goes a bit crazy. Saudi Arabia ends up in a union with a few other Middle East nations like the UAE, Oman, and Jordan. Now, this union starts conquering other nations in the area, like Yemen, the Babylonian nations, Israel, Turkey, and even Iran. Now, these wars skyrocket oil costs to an incredible degree. These oil costs make oil basically non-viable as an energy source for anything. Now, since there's no oil money, every billionaire on Earth dies instantly. A mass extinction event. And technology reverts. Cars are no longer a thing. People ride on horseback now. They use cannons and muskets. Now, these next few slides are all a reaction to this, an effect, and they're happening at the same time. Firstly, America, Canada, and Australia all explode. As you can see here by these borders, Alaska separates and the continental US splits into two. Whoops. Canada splits into a few more nations. Australia becomes Red Australia and Blue Australia. Greenland conquers Nunavut. It's partially. Europe. Europe does about the opposite. Smaller countries combine to form bigger ones to survive better. Scandinavia, these three European territories all do that. Meanwhile, Britain conquers Ireland again, and Ukraine does nothing. South America goes a bit more aggressive style. Some nations like Peru, the Central American countries, Venezuela, they all conquer their neighbors. In fact, most of these countries do, except Brazil, which doesn't do anything, and the nations that were conquered. This results in these 5 large territories. Indonesia conquers its neighbors for more resources, which doesn't change a whole lot, but it happened. Africa it isn't looking good. Some nations, like Egypt and the Congo, expand and conquer their neighbors, while others fall into complete chaos and anarchy, which forces the UN to move in and assist. These nations get turned into UN protectorates. Now, at the end of all of this, several alliances between nations form. All across the world, you'll find a patchwork of different nations, all of which collaborating to unite the world under their alliance. These alliances start fighting for total control of the planet, of which is where the game Risk begins. Although I must say, this plan seems pretty risky. I don't know if I'd do the same. Anyway, shout out to Grover Cleveland, my GOAT, for verifying this lore to be completely game accurate. Thank you, Grover Cleveland. Subscribe if you love Grover Cleveland.